Hello, guys. We're still a little early, so we'll just kind of chill for a little bit now, but we'll start shortly. But I hope everybody's doing good. Stream time. I'm staying up for this one. I mean, if we are I don't know if we're experimenting, but yeah, 9 o'clock. It's a little bit of a different one. Hopefully it's not too late for some people. Hopefully it's at an okay time. Not mentioned it was an hour ago. Oh, were people waiting for a long time? It was 9. I mean, you know what? I don't mind if we start at 8 next time. I don't know if we're still kind of figuring it out or testing the waters in terms of like what time's the best time, but I'm okay with either. 9's good. 9's good. 8's good. 7's also kind of okay as well. But yeah, hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody's having a good week. If you're just joining us, we'll be starting shortly, so I'm just kind of doodling. I guess just chilling while we wait, while we kind of let people settle in and everything. But we'll be starting shortly. And yeah, getting on. I will likely just watch this in the morning. It's all good. It is a little bit on the later side, so totally understand if you guys can't stay for the whole thing. I'm just doing a little fan doodle. I don't know if this will, if I'm capturing it correctly. I'm just kind of going at it. I've been looking at the volume a lot, so just been like, oh, you know, it's right here. Let's do a quick little doodle. I cannot be watching art tutorials at 8:57. Yeah, of course you can. I mean, it is late. Don't force yourselves to stay up if you guys can't stay up. The VOD will always be there, so no fret if you guys can't stay. Let me see. I don't know. He's got a big scar. Realize the hair. Gotta have the scar on. I wonder if this is gonna pop off like the other kind of shonens have, but I don't know. Jury is still out on what people think about this. I think it started off strong, and then I feel like now opinions on this series have kind of dwindled afterwards, but we'll see. Let's go. I hopped on YouTube to watch Wing Canvas, and then Josh was live. That's right, I am live. Don't know how long you're streaming for today, but I'm sticking around. I'll just throw off my sleep for a day. Oh man. Okay, well, we appreciate the love. We appreciate you sticking around. I hope it's not too big of a deal throwing off your sleep, and I hope that, you know, You don't have to do anything important tomorrow. If you got, if you got work or school tomorrow, I would say, the VOD will always be here. There's no need to throw off your sleep schedule for it. But it's almost time, so we'll start shortly. I can make it 2 hours. I've stayed up later. I mean, I don't doubt it. I do not doubt that you have stayed up later. But yeah, ooh, okay. It's 9. He alone can make America good. Oh my goodness. In the country. You're talking about me? If they let me into the country? Oh my goodness. I'm gonna try to stay for a while because making a lot of characters, 100+ series. It's time. I can probably stay for half the... okay. That's all good. That's all good. Glad you guys can make it. Glad you guys can show up for a little bit of it. But yeah, it is 9 o'clock. We're gonna be starting... So I guess, yeah, we'll just jump right into it. Let's not delay. I usually kind of try to, I don't know, have like filler talk and then it ends up going nowhere. So, might as well just jump into it, even though I guess technically what I'm doing right now is filler talk. But hello everybody, welcome to the channel. I know that this isn't really much of a doodle, starting screen doodle. I know you're much more familiar with Jesse's nice starting doodles, but I don't usually do starting doodles, so I just did one in like 2 minutes or 3 minutes before stream started. But hello, welcome to the stream. And yes, today is a little bit different. We are starting our Monday streams. This is my first Monday stream. Usually we stream on Saturdays and Sundays, so if you're used to seeing me stream on Sundays, well, guess what? That has changed. I am now a Monday streamer, Monday night streamer. We're catching you late owls tonight. But welcome to our stream. If this is your first time, my name is Josh, and if you don't know who we are as a YouTube channel, we are Wing Canvas. We are a YouTube channel where we make art tutorial videos on tips, tricks, and drawing advice to better help our art nerd community in this art community of ours. Our mission at Wing Canvas is to make art education easily accessible to everyone, so be sure to tune in live for free lessons every Saturday and Monday. Saturdays are still at the usual 3 p.m. Eastern time, but the Monday ones will now be at 9 p.m. Eastern time. So if you are an art nerd too, be sure to check out our links to our social media in the description below, and check out our website for class offerings where you can get critique, guidance, and encouragement from our instructors, because we're not just a YouTube channel, we're a school of illustration. And I also want to personally thank our incredible Patreon and YouTube members for supporting our mission. YouTube members can chat with our instructors and see video drafts before they're released. Patreon members can level up their artwork with classes, Q&A, and live critiques and personal support like drawovers from instructors. In fact, I just did one on Saturday, and I made it ran for a little bit over time, a little bit longer than it's technically supposed to, but it's always a great time talking with our Patreon members and kind of helping them out with their art pieces. So if you want to get some personal critique, Patreon and supporting us on Patreon is a great way to get that kind of live feedback. So yeah, if you want to help support the channel or accelerate your learning, consider becoming a member. And I think that is it in terms of all the stuff that the typical readouts. So yeah, let me see if I'm missing anything. I don't think I'm missing anything. Should be good. Okay. Cool. Yo, you did. I didn't even upload the recording yet, but when Broken Wings was like, "Oh man, Josh, you're a real one. You stayed up for 3 hours," and I'm like, "Oh dang, yeah, I did." Did it for 3 hours. But honestly, most of it was chatting. We were talking about like candy, and we're talking about like Chinese candy snacks. So it was cool. I'm okay with it. So yeah, welcome everybody to our stream for today. As you could probably tell by the title of this video, and if you could tell by I guess, the save file that I have here, we're going to be doing some more expressions for our character Nils. So if you don't know who Nils is, I guess this will be a little bit of a refresher, and then we'll do a little bit of the art challenge shout out, and then we'll go into the actual content of the stream. But if you forgot who Nils is, we on stream long time ago kind of came up with a character together as a community with the chat. We kind of broke down like what his backstory is, where he's coming from, what kind of person he is, and this is kind of the design that we're kind of playing around with. Obviously there's still a lot of stuff to do. There's only so much that we can kind of design in 2 hours or so this is roughly where we're at. And so we're going to be kind of expanding on just these 2 expressions, because obviously a good expression sheet is one where you can come up with like a lot. We know we love to see those nice concept art books where there's like a bunch of expressions for a character, where we get to see some awesome drawings, but also have characters be like fleshed out in how they look. So that's what we're going to be doing for today. But before we jump into that, as usual, every month we have a little bit of a shout out for the art community on our Discord. Every month there is a new monthly challenge, and for the month of February it was, what was it, Future Fantasies, I believe is what it's called. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. I'm just checking right now. Yes, Future Fantasies. Usually is kind of like some alliteration with the first letter of the month. So February starts with the letter F, Future Fantasies, you get the drill. But yeah, it was Future Fantasies. So every time we stream, we like to shout out the art community, and I'm pretty sure these haven't been given a shout out yet, but I only found 2 new ones, or 2 that haven't been pinned, so hopefully that they haven't been done yet, and Iggy just didn't do the shout out last time, or else I'm just gonna be repeating the shout out. But the first one is going to be by I'm hoping I'm probably saying your name right, but please forgive me for my mispronunciation. Hadassah Hess, I don't know, but this one's a cool piece. I like it. Cool world building, cool little layout with the town. Really cute characters, and I love the robots are a little unsettling now that I'm looking at it. The robots look kind of they don't really look quite pleased with the fact that they have to hang out with the humans, but I kind of like it. It's got a storybook illustration vibe to it that I really love. So yeah, awesome stuff here, Hadassah. Great work. My name is Hart. Is that you? Is that your name? Oh, okay. Well, hey, yeah. Great, or I don't know if you're saying that your name is hard to say, but yeah, awesome piece. Love the coloring, love the characters and the designs. Very old-timey, reminds me a bit of like BioShock style, so I gotta love that. And then the next one, and this is the last one, last bit of shout out. This is by Tamarin Lover, I think is how it would be said. I feel like it's a little bit more on the future side than on the fantasy side. Well, I guess the fantasy side of it is like the mystical stuff that's going on. But yeah, awesome stuff too. Love the angle. Love the little Dutch tilt here. And the colors are really cool. There's just so much detail going on. Jeez. Yeah, awesome stuff. Color looks great. Lighting looks great. Yeah, great illustration. No, this is her. Oh, it is her? Oh, nice. Okay, cool. I love how you went for a completely different name than your Discord name, but yeah. So thank you, Hadassah Hess, and thank you, Tamarin Lover, for your illustrations. We appreciate that you guys are submitting on the Discord, so it's always great to see the community's pieces and give them a little bit of love and appreciation by giving them a bit of a shout out. So if you want to potentially see your pieces, check out our art challenges in our Discord. We do them every month, and we try to whichever new ones that kind of pop up, and as long as they kind of match the theme, we will give them a little bit of a shout out at the beginning of every stream. So yeah, thank you guys for submitting, and now we get to the scary part where I have to draw now. My goodness. I hope my throat doesn't like die out. I realize that if I talk for too long, my throat starts giving out partway through. It doesn't like hurt, but I can feel it getting tired, which happens when I'm talking for too long. But hopefully today's fine. Oh, we got, wow! All the mods are showing up. I must be popular. You know, Joe's here. Well, Kevin has to be here, and then and then Vin's here too. Wow, everybody's here. It's crazy. But are you any Project Eden Garden fans? I've never heard of that. I don't know what that is, but sounds cool. I wonder if Evie will show up. I feel like I haven't seen Evie on any of the streams in a while. Yeah. Josh talks a lot, if you guys didn't know. Yeah. Do I talk a lot? I feel like Jesse is the one that talks the most. I think I try to fill up space, the void, but you know, I feel like I'm not talking about anything in general. And then I'm just blabbering, you know. And that's okay. Josh is a yabber, but that's okay. You know, yeah, that, you know, I'll take that. It's a compliment. Okay, so you'll notice that well, I guess if you were here for the last stream, I think I asked the chat or the community what type of emotions that they wanted to do. I didn't put that poll out in the community post, but if you guys do have some emotions you would like for me to draw, feel free to put them in the chat. I don't know if this makes Kevin do some more work, but Kevin, if you want to pin them so I can take a look at them afterwards, although I don't really know how to take a look at that. Actually, I don't know if that's a thing to do, but yeah, I will try to pay attention to chat. If any kind of emotions stand out, I'll try, but I think I'm just gonna kind of go with it and just make some emotions or just expressions for the character. Not gonna really necessarily tie them to any particular emotion per se, but we're just going to draw some fun expressions. Maybe I'll talk about my process for drawing faces and drawing expressions. And yeah. Wow, Vin's out for blood. Yeah, you want Kevin to suffer. What about doing an angered one, teeth bared? Oh, you know what? That's a good one. I haven't done one. Okay, I do want to do, you know, like the good old crazy anime eyes. Like, I love doing that. You know, the stare down. So yeah, maybe I should preface generally, like, maybe what I think about before drawing the expression. I think it really does help to kind of think about who your character is. So, like, the characteristics and, like, traits of your character, because I think there's a kind of a trap that people tend to kind of fall into when doing character expression sheets, is that they all make the characters look the same in terms of their expressions, which is fine because it's a good way of kind of just like stretching and pushing the character's face to see like what a character might look like in different angles and different expressions. But I think an expression sheet should also be representative of who the character actually is. So if the character wouldn't make certain expressions, or they wouldn't like move their mouth or move their eyebrows in a certain way, then I don't think it's reasonable to try to explore that type of expression for that character. So considering like who the character is and what type of personality that person has should be the guiding force, or I think it should be the main guiding force for the expressions that a character makes. Now, this is mostly just my philosophy, I guess. You could kind of see this as just how I like to view things, but I think it does play a large part in how you come up with the expressions for your characters. So thinking about the characters and thinking about the characteristic traits. The second one, I'm gonna be trying to use a similar like head shape, I guess. I'm gonna try to. This is like the hardest part about, I guess, character expression sheets and model sheets, is that you're trying to make it consistent. You know, similar head, consistent shape. I always forget if consistent is spelled with an E or an A. Consistent shape. So this means like the underlying kind of head shape and mannequin head shape should feel somewhat the same, and it should be uniform in proportions. So that's going to be also a big thing to make it feel like it's a proper expression sheet. So these are the main things, and I think I probably actually mentioned these in the first one. You can kind of see here that I'm referring to a mannequin head shape, and I think it's probably because like when I'm designing Nils's head and like as he's turning his head in different angles, I am trying to keep relatively what is the volume that's there, relatively like how his head shape is turning in 3 dimensions. So that is going to be a key point for when we're doing these. So yeah. And I guess we'll just jump right into it. I'm going to do something a little bit different this time. I'm going to start with like red, and then we'll go do like a finished version in blue. It's kind of, I don't know, trading off colors, I guess. When you're sizing someone and analyze them, that's a good one. I like that. I saw angry. I saw, you know, sizing up is good. I think we can start off with like a crazy stare down. I think that'd be cool. I don't know stare down, but you know, we'll try out like different expressions. Also, we'll see if this works for this character. I've drawn this expression multiple times, but I feel like it kind of changes depending on you know, the type of person and everything. So we'll see how it goes. And he's kind of, you know, this is kind of on the red side, so I typically do sketches in red. Just, I don't know, it's very reminiscent of pencil crayon. It's very cool, but in the final line work, if you're kind of like, what is he talking about? I just usually typically draw in red, but this time I'm gonna line everything in blue. So it's more of like an inside thing for me, I guess. You guys are probably like, what are you talking about, man? Because he ignores me when I'm here. Oh, wait, I see it. Evie's here. Wow. I'm watching the Canadian debate and being at work. How absolute. Did I throw shade? I don't remember throwing shade. I love giving side eyes. You know, side eye is always great. Poor Canadians never taught how to spell correctly. Hey, you talking about when we spell with color and neighborhood with a U? That's all valid, you know. The Mont fight. Is there a Canadian debate going on? I actually didn't even know that we're having a debate happening right now. I didn't even know it was happening. Didn't even know it was going on. Might have to change the head size a little bit. You spell neighborhood with a U? Yeah, we spell it neighborhood. 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 No, I'm just kidding. We put it here. We put the U there. Can you imagine if we spell it neighborhood? I'm in the neighborhood. Spread misinformation. Yeah, you know, that's how we do things. How do you spell gray? Gray or gray? Isn't it the same? I thought it like didn't really matter how you spelt it. It's kind of like, isn't center and center like it's essentially the same? It doesn't really matter, right? Or at least I thought it didn't really matter. Neighborhood. Hey, I like that. Neighborhood. The neighborhood. This is terrible. We're terrible. So I don't know how wide should I make this eye. I usually kind of get caught up on the cleanup, so I don't know. We'll see how long or how much time I'm able to spend time on the cleanup, because we don't have too much time. It's so good that I don't have my camera on. My face would just be like kind of. You'd see all the faces I'd have to make. I don't know if anybody does. I'm pretty sure this is like a normal thing. Like when you draw expressions, and your like face kind of moves with how the expression is that you're drawing. Pretty sure that's a normal thing. Unless people go like, yo, what? You do that? No one does that. That's weird. And then I'd be like, like, what? I don't do that. Oops. I feel like this may be still a bit too big. I don't know. Try it out. Those are two Canadian washroom and center. Actually, no, that you know what's weird though is that I went to I forgot. Oh, I was in Grand Canyon, so I guess Arizona, and we were in like some convenience store or something, and my cousins were like looking for candy and everything, and I went up to one of the cashiers and I was like, hey, do you guys have a washroom, or like where's the do you know where the washroom's at? And the guy kind of just looked at me like he had no idea what I was saying. And he's like, what? The what? I'm like, the washroom. Do you guys have a washroom? And he's like, what's a washroom? I was just like, oh, what you mean the restroom? I'm like, yeah, the restroom. Yeah, that old thing, you know. I was like, does it not compute? Washroom, I feel like, okay, but if someone brought that up, I feel like I would kind of put two and two together, and I would realize and understand that the guy is trying to ask for where the washroom is, you know. You know, I feel like it's kind of they kind of sound the same, they kind of make sense, you know, but apparently not. Apparently it's still very hard to understand that they're two different things. I don't know. It's weird. I thought it was funny. I mean, no hate towards the guy, like but I thought it was funny that he just stared at me, gave me a blank stare as if I was crazy. I'm like, restroom? What's a restroom? And I'm like, restroom? You don't have any of those? Restroom's not a thing for you guys? Yeah, I thought it was fun. But yeah, drawing with while making expressions is normal. I thought so. I thought it was normal. Being on would make the stream more helpful. Just saying. I did think about that. I feel like sometimes every now and then doing like a camera on would help with, especially also like explaining things. But yeah, Question on expressions, if you don't mind. Yeah, if you guys have questions on expressions, feel free to throw some questions out. Oh, by the way, I would say that like when I do these kind of like rough sketches, they're not gonna look great by any means. I'm kind of in a way just feeling it out. They're usually they look quite off. They'll look a little like not quite there. Because I'm still kind of exploring it, still kind of feeling for like the expression in a way. But yeah, so you have to bear with me a little bit. Sometimes the expressions will just look a little funny the first time, and hopefully like as I'm like cleaning it up, as I'm drawing it, like it gets refined a bit more. I realize I've never actually drawn him with hair like all the way up here, so I don't know. I feel like I'm drawing some edgy. Well, that you know what, that was supposed to be the point. He was supposed to look like someone from the 90s, you know, someone who would listen to like Green Day or what is it, Blink 182 or something, like, you know, those, I don't know, order, you know, like punk rock kind of music. I was like, oh man, what a very serious punk rock kid here, you know. Not me. We country folk get when we go out in public. People turn when we talk, but you sound exactly the same as I sound. I don't get it. Wait, what? I learned that I tilt my head back and forth when I draw, and now I'm self. I've been told that when I get really focused and serious, my mouth twitches. Like I move my mouth a lot, but I guess now not really because I'm talking while I'm streaming, kind of. The room I go to rest in. You know, honestly, yeah, I guess it doesn't. Wait, yeah, for Americans, right? Like, why? Yeah, why is it called the restroom? You know, are you resting in there? Yaint? Is that a thing? People do not say yaint, do they? I've never heard yaint. Washroom makes sense. I need someone to tell me how water closet came to be. Is that a thing too? I've never heard of a water closet. Stares at you. Oh, people stare at you. The stares we country folk get when we go into the public. But you do sound different. What are you talking about? Yeah, well, you know what? That's always something that I've wondered is like, for example, I don't think I have an accent, but I wonder what that sounds like to someone who's not from a North American accent, you know? He is quite edgy. Why is it called the bathroom when there's no bath? Well, I guess bathroom makes sense if you're at home, maybe. I find expressions where the lip protrudes while pouting or when the lip is open, like shouting hard. How do you draw those and know how far the jaw face extends or how much the facial features contort? Oh, that's a good question. I think it will depend a little bit on the style, but I would say the best, and Kevin and everybody will make fun of me for it, but it's the best way to figure it out is to find a mirror and do the expression yourself if you can. If you can't do the expression yourself, then I think the best way is to kind of find references so that you can kind of see how other people would make the expression and how far the mouth would move when they're talking. But usually it's not too far. But that's why I say style kind of plays a bit of a role to it, because you can kind of draw someone and like if we go with like the whole shouting expression, everything kind of compresses around the eyes, but not only that, but like when you shout and you go like ah, you know, like the cheeks also kind of come up a little bit. And then the face kind of goes down. Now, it'll look really weird because I don't know if you've ever looked at yourself when you make this expression. Your face looks kind of distorted. and you're like your whole mouth kind of stretches open wide on the outside, but then it also kind of goes like this, and then it goes back this way. But then also the inside of the mouth plays a big role on it. Kind of baring your teeth a little bit helps with kind of the expression. Showing a little bit of teeth and kind of showing roughly where the tongue is kind of helps in terms of reading the expression. And it also depends on the kind of shouting that you do. Now, you'll notice that a realistic shout, your mouth kind of angles symmetrically like this, and then your chin also kind of goes away a little bit, and the mouth also hinges. It's a hinge, so it doesn't open and shut like vertically. So if I draw like somewhat of a same expression again, like someone's shouting, and here's the nose, whatever, very, very beautiful drawing here. But your mouth doesn't open like this. This would be very weird if someone just did this. This is more of like a down. Your mouth doesn't open straight down like this. This kind of looks like what is it, Ghostface, or the one from Scary Movie? I forgot what is that guy character's name, but from Scary Movie, the one with the white mask and everything. But like your mouth would just move down, but your mouth doesn't really move down. Ghostface. This saying it out loud sounds weird, but your mouth is on a hinge, so you can kind of think about it like your mouth jaw is kind of here, and then your your skull and everything. So it's kind of swings over here. It kind of unhinges and can kind of wind back a little bit. It's not a perfect hinge like a door, but it kind of unhooks a little bit. You can think of it as unhinging from your skull a little bit, and then it goes backwards. And the reason why it can unhinge a little bit is because we still have tendons and muscles and skin holding our jaw together. Our face is a little weird and it's kind of bizarre, but that is kind of it. It's kind of symmetrical though on this side of it. The weird thing and kind of strange thing about anime or even cartoons, they'll do a thing where they kind of give it more of a vanity shouting face, I guess, where it's not too extreme, meaning they don't actually try to stretch the face too much. So they try to maintain that kind of nice looking face angle for the character. So this is more of what we really look like. Let's say quote unquote realistic. Our face gets really distorted on a realistic shouting expression, but on a more anime, cartoony kind of expression, we have a little bit more of a vanity, meaning they try to make it still look cool and still try to make it look nice and everything. It can still get pretty wide, don't get me wrong, but they try to, I would say for cartooning and especially for anime, it tries to maintain a little bit of the look of the character still looking nice. Because it's got to look cool still. So it might look something like this for an anime character shout. Now I'm doing this really quickly just to get across a point, but yeah, it might be something like this. Honestly, this is not too bad. This might be a good one to start off with for nils. We could kind of start off with this. It's a bit exaggerated and pushed, but I don't know. Maybe we have something here to start with. He's in a rock concert. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm in a rock concert. Probably not gonna go with that. You made me yawn. Yo, I don't know. Okay, you know how people say yawning is contagious? I can kind of see it sometimes. But then I feel because I know it's supposed to be contagious, I feel I find myself fighting not to yawn. If someone else yawns, I'm oh, I can't yawn. Maybe I did have to yawn, but now I can't yawn. I will not let myself yawn, What are you working on? Oh, I'm yawning so much my eyes are watering. Hey Josh. Hey Max. Hello? Where else do I change then? You can Everybody's still talking about the whole like washroom, restroom, bathroom. Okay, but then you know we also have like different words for like powder room and what is it? The I was gonna say watering hole, but that's not a thing for humans. That's I think like watering hole is a thing for animals, right? I'm pretty sure that's an animal thing. We'll do some rough. You know what? I guess we'll do some roughs of like the expressions we might draw, and then hopefully we'll have time to do some cleanup. It's not too bad actually. I know we jumped from like one expression to the other, but I'll work on like both of them at the same time probably. I don't know what he's shouting at, but you know. Suggest you Discord DM showing you how to find the suggested emotion. Oh. Okay, if you're still saying powder room, you can go back to the 16. I swear I've heard some of my like aunts or my parents' friends refer to it as the powder room. It's like, oh, where can I wash my hands? Like, oh, the powder room is over there. And I think it's like maybe if you get a nice bougie big house, you feel like the need to call it the powder room because it sounds bougier to call it a powder room. I don't know. Maple syrup people with their washrooms. Oh, maple syrup people. That's a funny term. I've never heard us being referred to as maple syrup people. Oh, you know what? I like that. Water hole is the water jug in the office, which does not apply to us since we're all virtual. It's a half bathroom with makeup. Okay, but what do you mean by like a half bathroom? So like it doesn't have a toilet? Is that why? Also, Max, I see you asked, working on a bit stylized project. Any tips? Well, I guess in terms of stylization, it comes down to what kind of style you're going for. And I would say that kind of try to stay consistent with the style. Especially if it's a style that you're not, or if you're attempting kind of a style that, and you haven't quite figured it out exactly, I would say the big goal is to kind of come up with a consistency to it. Because I think a lot of times, like, a lot of our influence and kind of inspiration comes from the stuff that we've seen already. And so when we draw certain expressions, we're kind of drawing it and basing it on what we've seen already. And so when you come up with an angle or a facial expression that you've never seen before in that style, it becomes a bit of a challenge because now you kind of have to almost invent it for yourself. So when you're doing a stylized project, I would say try to keep in mind of like, what are some stylistic design choices that you're going for? Like line weight, the way you shade the eyes is a big one, the eyebrows is a big one, the hairstyle, the way you do shading and lighting, or if do you like fill in the shadows even though there's only a little bit of it, the eye size. All these things kind of add to the style, and I would say like it kind of comes down to what you're going for. So if you're going for more cartoony, then I would say like keep it like lively, keep it round, keep it kind of fun. If you're going for more realism, then I would say try to keep in mind of proportions. Try to keep in mind of like where things should be going and how they're kind of orbiting as you draw the characters in different angles. So all these things kind of help with the consistency in style, I would say. It means no shower for half. Oh, okay. You know what? That makes sense. Powder room, but with no bath. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. it has a bathroom, it's a bathroom. But half baths don't have baths, so they call it powder room. You know what? I guess that that checks out. Just a toilet and sink. Okay, okay. Let's go. I'm bougie. Why do you still call it a powder room? When the shower isn't there, we're not. I'm gonna keep saying bathroom, even if it's half a bath. See, this is why washroom works for everything. You know, you say washroom, it could be the one without a bath, it could be the one in a convenience store or in a restroom. You say washroom and it's just the one with the toilet, you know. Washroom just applies to everything. Okay, let's see. It's like 9:39. I am going to try to do okay, let's try to do like maybe 3 expressions. I don't know. What did someone else say? I forgot what the other suggestions were. Oh, it was angry. Okay, we got angry. We got kind of like a stare down. Oh, I did the disgusted face already. Oh, he's like a ghost hunter. So maybe I'll do some kind of like, we'll do some scared, like a scared expression. Okay, I'm gonna try to knock out these 3 by the end of stream, but don't take my word for it. I don't know how quick I'll be able to clean these ones up. Oh, nonchalant. Okay, but okay, nonchalant's more just like chill, right? Like nonchalant's not the same as aloof or standoffish, right? Nonchalant. I guess like this, you know, this is the time where I think I know words and then I find out I don't know what words mean. Like what the definition of certain words are. Nonchalant. A person or manner of feeling or appearing casually calm and relaxed, not displaying anxiety, interest, or enthusiasm. That sounds a little bit like aloof, but maybe more calm than aloof, I guess. I guess we'll see. We gotta do the, you know, shocked expression, though. I don't know what that is, but. You can't take a nap in a washroom. Are you telling me you take a nap in a restroom? Why? Wait, do they have a bed in a restroom? Is that why? Is that the difference? You're telling me every restroom in America, because you guys don't call it washrooms, you're telling me every restroom in America has like some kind of bed or a couch for you to rest on? Ain't nobody resting in the washroom. It's 9:40. Oh wow, time flies. Yeah, that's true. No, you didn't miss the whole stream. We kind of started like 43 minutes ago in a way, so you're still good. Put it in the Q&A, but yeah. Oh, right, I totally forgot about about that. Have you guys been putting it? Oh, okay. Okay, now that someone reminded me that there was a questionnaire, yes, you can put them in the Q&A and I will check them out if I have time to add one more expression maybe. Let's see. Nervous sweat. That one's not too bad. I like that. Should I change the perspective for some expressions, like in anime, the top-down insane face to push the expression, or does the front angle work just fine? There've been some crazy front angle, like that crazy anime stare, but the front angle, I think that still works. Yeah, I know the go-to is kind of like that top-down, like you're close to the eyebrows and then you're looking down on the face. But I think front still works. It's kind of more just that fish eye lens is what makes it look odd. So it doesn't really matter what angle you do, unless you're saying like, can you not do a fisheye lens and it's a front view and still get that like crazy expression? Then I think you could, but you would really have to capture it in just the expression itself. Oh, Just Fraser, hey, I saw you on Patreon, or at least Kevin, I think gifted you a Patreon thing for helping us out or something. Who takes a nap in a public toilet room? Honestly though, Kevin, I feel like at Yorkdale, those washrooms are like huge and they have like waiting areas right outside of the washroom. I swear I've seen like people do take naps on the couch. Where you can rest, like relax. That's terrible. No one's relaxing in the washroom, There's a restroom there too. Stylized, but a bit semi-realistic, and maybe not, also a bit stylized. Okay. Yeah, then honestly, Max, for stylization, I would say that a lot of it will just come down to just making sure it's consistent and kind of having some visual language to kind of emphasize. So it could be line work, it could be the way you stylize the hair even, or even the shape. Are you more organic in how you draw? Or the way you make everything angular? That could be one thing you could play around with. Diversity in angles is good for a sheet. Yeah, having different angles is definitely very good for a sheet. Oh, Outhouse! That's the other one I was thinking about that I completely forgot about. Outhouse. Ooh, like if this is like the scared one, I feel like you should have his hair completely, not completely, but stand up a little bit. I don't know what to do about the hair that's like down though. I'm kind of like wondering like should it like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like, is there any way to translate the hair language of the one that's going across his face? Totally almost forgot about the ear there. But I realized I gave him kind of a little bit of a Johnny Bravo haircut. I don't know if anybody in here knows Johnny Bravo, but yeah, I feel like the hairstyle, how it just like sticks straight up. That's the Johnny Bravo haircut. Oh, I don't want to draw hands. Okay, this is not a hand drawing stream, so I'm not gonna try to finesse the hands. So you'll have to ignore the really bad hands. I just want to get his arm kind of like up here and be like, whoa, like, oh. Or maybe there would be a finger here. I don't know. Maybe that. I don't know. Something like that. It's already white, like he's frightened. That's true. I don't know if we'll get to coloring, but yeah, I guess it helps. Is already nonchalant. I think the word nonchalant is funny. Oh, okay. Have you made any money with your skills, and how can this be done? If so, that's a very aggressive question right there, fun boy, but for your name especially. But yeah, I think, you know, like putting yourself out there, whether it's on social media or kind of just making sure that there's ways for people to contact you and make yourself known that you're kind of available to take on like whether commissions or studio work so that people can reach out for you. Like being prepped and ready is a big one. But yeah, now that you pointed out, yes, he does have that hair. What about a tired expression? Oh, that's a good one. Tired one. I'll keep that in the potential. I'll put a pin on it because a lot of the people in chat have kind of thrown out expressions. I haven't had a chance to really look at them, but yeah. This just in. Josh doesn't know how to draw hands. Hey, look, the hands, if I can avoid drawing hands, I'd rather not draw hands. I could do it. It just takes me an annoying amount of time to draw, and I'm just like, I don't want to draw the hands. Just like everybody else. But yeah, we're gonna get these in. I don't know if should it be this. How should these look? These look okay. We're definitely going for a more anime look, obviously, with the character. So yeah, we're gonna be kind of pushing these expressions in a more anime direction in terms of like the way we're drawing the eyes, the way we're doing the expressions. But yeah, hopefully it turns out okay. It's just in Josh's AI, that's why. Yo, that's wild. Kevin, you're supposed to keep it a secret. It was not supposed to be revealed anytime soon, you know? Josh faded a G. Hey, you know, as long as you can read that these are hands, I think it's fine. See, you know, here, these are the hands. Look at that, yo. This is the GSL. It's the you got the shape of the hand. The future self, exactly. Yeah, you know, that's my mentality. It's more just like we'll let future me will figure out the hands. Flustered. Oh, that's a deep one. Flustered. So Ramos sent in flustered. That's a crazy one. For chance, a nervous sweat. I guess this is kind of like a nervous sweat. We can have this be a nervous sweat. I don't know if that counts as a nervous sweat. Okay, we'll start with just these three for now, and since we got about an hour, we'll do these three. We'll clean up these three, and then we will and then if I have time, maybe I might just get started on a quick rough of the other ones. So typically this is kind of how I do things. I'll do a little bit of a rough like this just to quickly break down what I want in the direction for the faces and roughly where the features might look. And then after this, I might do like 1 or 2 more cleanups for it before we get to the final. So I don't think we have too much time, so I'll probably just do 1 cleanup and then we'll do the final. So what this means is I will go in again, lower the opacity, still keep it on red, because this is not the final one, and then we'll go into, we'll kind of work on them. This one's kind of one that I'm like, it's not turning out so hot, so we'll kind of move our way up. We'll start with the one down here, then we'll go to the shouting one, and then we'll go to the stare down, and then we'll do the final line work, and hopefully it turns out all right. So we'll see. And I know I keep mentioning this, and in no way am I like sponsored by this series or anything, but I've been actually looking at a lot of Kagurabachi as like inspiration. So for those who came in a little bit late, that's kind of what I was drawing here. This was I had a volume of Kagurabachi right in front of me, so I was looking at that to draw. I'm gonna head out. Bye bye. Bye, Shadow Bean. Look at those meat mitts. I feel like I'm really slow and bad at line art. It takes me 4 passes and it's still rough. You know, honestly, I kind of feel that. It especially depends on how nitpicky you are about line work. But I will say, I've found that sometimes it helps to just stick with one of them. So if one of them looks roughly there, and honestly you don't have to clean up that much more, I would say stick with it, and then just erase the parts that aren't necessary. Do the cleanup by erasing and cleaning up the line. And I don't know, maybe we'll get to a point where I can kind of show that here, but that's kind of how I go about doing it, is to do the cleanup do like the final on the cleanup sometimes that helps. On a weird tangent, how do you transpose your character face on a meme? Oh my goodness. You know, I do not know how to do that, actually. I have never done that before in my life, but I wish you best of luck as you attempt that. That is a very random, out of pocket tangent. I do appreciate that random bit of tangent there, though. I like it. Should I use vector lines for that or be extra slow and do it by hand? You definitely don't have to use vector lines. I am a big lover of vector lines, but no, you do not have to rely on vector lines for clean artwork. I'd say a big part of it is just making sure you're direct with your lines. You know, be consistent with your pressure. Don't be like don't be too slow, because if you're not that great at controlling your pen or your stylus, then drawing a straight line is going to be hard if you go kind of slow, because you'll kind of go back and forth. It might get really jittery like this. So I always say kind of go in one smooth direction and then clean it up as you go. Yeah. Oh, Max, you said I missed one of yours. What did I miss? Like an expression? Or like a little comment? Thanks for the tip. Yeah, no problem. I found a texture brush, edited a little, and now I don't hate doing line art. Yeah, I think that is a big part too. I find that it's much easier to do line art with a textured brush. So if you're using Krita, the one that I like a lot is this one. I've shouted this out a few times now. It's the charcoal pencil medium thin. Or is that the one I made? Oh, I made that. Okay, so I made this. I named it thin just so I could differentiate between the default one. This is the default one. This is the default charcoal pencil medium. But I changed it a little bit so that there's a little bit more pressure sensitivity. The texture is a little bit more prominent. But yeah, that's kind of what I kind of played around with. And then after that, it's all just kind of... After that, it's just kind of up to you to control. Yeah, you can kind of see like this one. You see how there's a little bit of like this, like the size doesn't really change too much, and it has a bit of a opacity filter to it that's not great. Okay, I don't think it's great. I don't like it. This one is a little bit more direct, and I can get thinner lines, and it has a bit more texture compared to the default one. So that's kind of what I like. This is how I like my pens to be. So that's kind of how I adjusted it. If you want to adjust your brush, it's always under here, and everything on the side that's checked off, that has a check mark on it, means that it has some kind of effect on the overall brush. But usually I kind of just stick to like opacity, flow, size, and brush tip is really what I play around with. Everything else I kind of left it as default basically, but yeah, that's kind of how you can play around with the brush and get some interesting settings. But yeah, I'm literally going back to watch from the start because I'm late. Y'all are in the future. Yo, that's crazy. You know what's funny? I'm pretty sure it's an old video, old clip of a girl going like, if Europe is ahead of us, why can't they tell us the future? I was like, oh man. Oh boy. Ooh, we could do like some crazy movement with the eye. You have like he moved back or something, you know? It's like, whoosh. This might make it look like someone shot him in the eye, but no, he's I'm trying to make it look like he's moving backwards. Like he's like, whoa. Hatching and shapes help me warm up. That's a good one, yeah. But I haven't drawn in a long time. What is a good warm-up drill for warming up? Yeah, I think kind of what Fruity said. Unforgiven is a good warm-up. Doing some like hatching. I find that doing some circles, good old circles, is a good warm-up. It gets your kind of overall arm moving, and it gets the overall kind of like momentum going, and it's a good way to just like loosen up and get the arm moving in the direction and control that you need for when you do drawings. So I find doing like circles is a good one. Some people might not like this, but I also recommend doing figure drawing. That's so way to warm up. I don't know. People might be like, that's a wacky way of warming up, but I think it's a good way to kind of just like ease back into it. So you're working with something. Yeah. Honestly, I might have this be the final go. Since this is the final go, I'm just gonna edit this. So we're going with like an indigo. I'm going with indigo for the final color. Yeah. I joined the Discord for a while ago, but I'm clueless on how to use it. Oh, yeah. Kevin helped you out there. Just draw people to warm up. No figure drawing is perfect for warming up. Yeah, I think so too. I think it's a good way. And you don't have to do any like crazy over-the-top figure drawing either. I find that like just doing maybe like just, simple bean figure warm-ups are good. Just doing a little quick gesture pillow warm-ups are also really good, and those really help as well. So I don't think you need to do it like the crazy full figure that's like fully rendered. Like just some simple, maybe like 1 or 2 minute character gestures is like perfectly good enough for a warm-up session. Nobody wants to sit and draw circles. Hey, I like to draw circles and people. I think drawing circles and people are fine. But I get it. It's not the most exciting thing to draw. But, if you find that you're a little stiff, like your arm is not really moving in the way that you want to, I do find that like doing circles to just... I'm not saying don't do it for like a full hour or 30 minutes even. Just like a simple, quick... maybe just like draw a full page of circles, I think is a good starting point. Yeah, I think that's not too bad. That's pretty good. A full page, are you... How many days game studios give to finish full character design package? Oh, I'm not too sure about that one. It might depend on the studio. I feel like usually if you apply for a studio, they have a deadline, especially if it's a big studio or even for like animation or video games, like you'll see a job posting that's out there. That's why usually it's best to just have one. Don't worry too much about like the time limit. Well, obviously make them done as efficiently as you can, but then have them ready so that when you do see job postings, you're ready to apply for it. And you're not making it the moment you see the job posting or something. But yeah, it's a lot of work. The design package is a lot because you're doing like expression sheets, you're doing turnarounds, kind of like what Kevin is saying. You're doing action poses, maybe even some color guides as well. So it's not like something that you can just pull off in maybe a few hours or so, or even a day. It might take you some time depending on what your style is and how in depth you want to go for the design of the characters. So yeah, but usually I would say it takes some time. I think it's, well, I don't know, who knows. I've never applied for a gaming studio before, but I don't think they usually make you do timed portfolios. Like, they're not going to bring you in and test you by having you do a portfolio, like a drawing test on the spot. I know design studios might do that for like illustration and graphic design. They might ask you to sit down and then design something within a given time limit, just so that they can see that you know how to use Illustrator or Photoshop in the way that they need you to. But for character design, I don't think so, just because that's kind of what your portfolio is for. But I don't know. I might be wrong, depending on what kind of studio you're applying for and what kind of style the studio is wanting. And maybe they might do that, but I am not too sure on that one. Yeah, look at that. Kevin giving out answers. Are you trying to torture me? I'm just trying to stick with drawing people. Yo, you know what? Like drawing circles, it can be beneficial. Don't underestimate the benefit of drawing circles there, you know? I know it might sound tedious, but it's some good stuff there, you know? Ah, man, I'm gonna have to draw the hands. Dang it, Kevin. I don't want to draw the hands quickly. Kevin, summarize for me phase stream so I know how to approach this. Gesture shape slide. Okay, well, I mean, I got the gesture. I don't know if I got the line necessarily, but you know. If a student asks you to create something as a test for their screening process, though, make sure it's paid. Say no to spec work. Yeah, hey, that's a good point. Yeah, good point by Joe. There. I'm surprised, Joe, you're still here. I'm like, wow. Maybe like there or something. I'm listening while drawing. Oh, hey, nice, nice. I know for art class they let us draw from reference for a given time limit, which is pretty good, I think. I forgot what that was in reference to. You guys talk about applying in portfolios. I guess I'm very lucky to be going into family business. I do advertising, graphic design, articles, animation, and didn't have to do anything. Hey, you know what? You take the opportunities that are given to you. That's very fortunate. You know, not too many people have that kind of access in that way. But you know what? If you're enjoying it, then good on you. Glad that you're able to find it so comfortably, I will say. Also, I'm pretty sure I made his arm a little bit too short, but I don't know. Oh, let's see. I was like reading a little. I finally finished. I bought the Art of Mulan like a long time ago, and I finally got a chance to finish reading it. And man, the art style for that film is amazing. It's so good. I wish Disney would go back to kind of catering an art style based off of like the movie that they're doing. They haven't done that in a long time. I feel like they kind of do it, but with 3D, I get it. It's like maybe it's a bit harder doing it, but remember the time when like every Disney movie, like, well, I guess maybe every big budgeted Disney movie, kind of like right after the Renaissance period, it would change, the art style would change depending on the type of movie that was. And that's so cool. You know, like Atlantis is based off of Hellboy from Mike Mignola. Like Mulan, they hired someone so that they could kind of like approach it in a more like Japanese ink and watercolor painting style. Like, that's so cool. But they don't do that anymore. And that's kind of unfortunate. I wish they did a little bit more of that, but oh well. It's they've moved on to do things a little bit differently. Atlantis. Contour lines and line weight. Hey, yeah. You know, that's also a pretty good exercise to start off with, I would say. Like, if you don't know what to do for gesture drawing, yeah, contour line's a good one. Even like Hercules, like, you know, that movie, story-wise, it's a little rough, you know, I guess in today's standards, but honestly, Hercules, like the art style also, they hired someone so that they could kind of change up the art style a little bit so that it worked better for like the more Greek mythology storyline. And I'm kind of like, man, I wish they would just bring that back where they would just change it based off of the movie, you know, because it makes it more unique, makes it better, you know, makes it a little bit different. Yeah, like Mulan, Atlantis, Hercules. I'm trying to think if they did it for anything else really. Probably not. Well, Aladdin. They used Al Hirschfeld for Aladdin. Like that's so neat. It's like it's so creative, going a little bit above and beyond, and a little bit out of the comfort zone of the artist, just so that they could experiment a little bit. Yeah, I wish they would bring that back. I guess in a way, Spider-Verse kind of did that. What is it? What else? Wolfwalkers kind of did that as well. Like they changed the art style so that it works for the film and the story that they're doing, and I think that's really cool. I think that's really neat. But it's like hard to do because basically you gotta like train also your artists so that they know how to draw in that style as well, because you're basically asking a whole team of artists to then change their approach and change how they do things naturally. And that's kind of hard to do. That's not easy. That requires money. Oh, he's moving this way. I feel like I should have it go. Wow, so fancy. Love Wolfwalkers? Yeah, you know, I've been meaning to watch it again. Just because I watched it and I watched it on Apple Plus, so like I think you can only watch it on Apple Plus. So I haven't watched it since the first time, and I really want to check it out again because it was such a visually the first time watching it, I was like, oh my goodness, holy, this movie looks amazing. Looks insane. I have not watched their other stuff though. Like, I know my friend has told me their other films are also really good too, so I've been meaning to, and I've been wanting to check out their other stuff, but I have not had time, unfortunately, to check out their other stuff, and that it does bug me immensely that I can't watch, that I haven't watched their other stuff. Because I would like to watch their other stuff. Trying to figure out, like, I want the other arm to also be moving too. I think it'd be like nice kinetic energy. I might not draw the whole arm though, but I just draw like, I don't know. Trying to contemplate what to do with this other arm. Maybe something like that. I think it looks pretty good. Looks not too bad. Should we go all dark? I don't know if we'll go all dark for it though. And let's see. I've been doing this thing now where I just choose a lighter color, even if the character is natural, like maybe hair color is not as dark. I think this one's pretty good. We'll go with this. Or maybe we'll do a little bit lighter. Do I have a color like kind of like that? Oh, we do. Yeah. I know this is not technically, like, I know I gave him like dark hair, but I think this will be kind of neat to have a harsh contrast lighting with the line work. Aladdin is my favorite. Wait, is it actually, Kevin? I don't think I did it. Have you said that before? I don't know, man. My memory is probably so bad. You probably mentioned that before. I don't know. I don't remember you ever mentioning that it's your favorite Disney movie. I feel like mine kind of fluctuates. It goes between, I think, Lion King, maybe Mulan, and Treasure Planet. Although, you know what, after watching, I didn't really love Atlantis the first few times, but then after watching it multiple times, I'm like, no, this movie kind of slaps. This movie's really good. This movie's like not bad at all. Like, it's a really easy film to just kind of put on and just have playing in the background and just chilling to. Like, it's really good. You really? Okay, you know what though? I have not watched Aladdin in a long time. I have been meaning to go back to it and check it out, but I have not watched it for in a while. So I've been meaning to go check it out again. But yeah. So how'd you feel with the Will Smith version of Aladdin then? You must have been super excited when they said Will Smith was gonna be Genie. Tangled and Aladdin compete for top. Aladdin may have to win out though. Visually, it is made. Oh, you know what? Tangled is also really good. I will give you that. Tangled is also very, very good. I like Tangled a lot too. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Yeah, me neither. I think me and my sister put on the live action Aladdin for like a few minutes, and then I think after he escaped out of the cave, we fell asleep. We were just like, do you want to keep watching it? No, okay, yeah, me neither. We just turned it off. It was not, I don't know, it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was bad. It is kind of like what everybody says. It's just kind of pointless, unfortunately. So you know, I guess we will go darker. Go darker on it. Oh, it doesn't work? Dang. Doesn't work like that? Oh, it does work like that. It's really that, oh, it's that light? Huh. I'm surprised. Actually, I don't know if we go that dark. That kind of makes, I just realized the shadow on his face looked a little comical, but don't know. Maybe I will keep it. I think it works. It's fine. I think it's okay. Okay, on to the next one. Will Smith thinking, it's not bad. The original is just better. Yeah, it's kind of, I think, the same of like what everybody says for all of the Disney films. It's just like, they're not bad. They're just, it's kind of like, they're fine. They're all right. Okay, I will say though, I think we did watch the Mulan, live action Mulan, and I do think that one's bad. I do not like live action Mulan because it completely betrays everything that I think is what makes at least the Disney version of Mulan great. I don't know, they changed too much about it. And what's even funnier is that the changes that they made in the live action, if you read the making of for Mulan, like in the art book, they talk a lot about kind of the story decisions that they had to kind of figure out and hammer out. And everything that they said no to while making the animated Mulan, they put it in the live action version, which is, I find absolutely hilarious. Like literally things were like, oh, we gotta show Mulan is super strong so that, you know, maybe it'll make her great and that she wants to fight for her country. And they mentioned that in the making of Mulan for the 2D one. And they're like, but it didn't work because it didn't feel like Mulan. It made Mulan feel too like selfish in a way. Like everything was kind of focused about her when it should be about the family. And then it's funny because then they turned that idea down in the 2D animated because they were like, that does not work. And then they did it in the live action version, and you're kind of like, what? what? Huh? So that, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm so curious as to like what was the writing. Honestly, a lot of things happening in Disney right now. I'm very curious as to like what's happening in terms of like the writing room and kind of just like how they're planning things, because something's clearly changed. If you look at a lot of old Disney and kind of like the way the people talk about what it was like to make the films, it's clearly very different from how it is now. And I don't mean in like the, oh, stories gotta be more modern or they gotta tackle modern problems or whatever, but I think it's just different in everybody's mindset when they're making the movies. It's just different. Also, I realize I don't really know how to draw squinting eyes. I don't know. Should I draw squinting eyes like he's... I don't want to do like a fully closed eyes, but I feel like if I draw fully closed eyes, it's kind of jokes. I don't know. Does it really work? All the old Disney animated... Yeah, most of them have left. I don't even think it has to... Well, I think it has to be a little bit of it. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but there's actually a really great documentary in the making of Beauty and the Beast, where the animators, where they're like, they try, while figuring out the story for Beauty and the Beast, they couldn't do it. All the execs were turning it down. And the execs were pretty much like, okay, go on a research trip. We're going to send you to Paris while like we figure things out and while we figure out like what this movie should be and what it should be about and all that. And then it's funny because in the doc, it's kind of made like a vlog. It's like literally just the animators carrying around a camcorder recording their time in France while they're figuring out what they should do with Beauty and the Beast. It's actually really wholesome. And in the vlog, they actually literally, the producer talks about how this was a time period when, because they're kind of commenting on this in like retrospect about how this is a period of time when Disney had no money. Now, I guess when they say Disney had no money, like they had no money in the sense of what Disney has now. But it is interesting where they did not give a lot of money to the animation department, because this is when like Michael Eisenberg took over and it was under Jeffrey Katzenberg and everything, and like the animation department was not their kind of primary focus. So like they did not allocate a lot of budget towards the animation side of things. So they were technically on a poorer quote unquote budget than they are maybe like today or something. But it's kind of funny because in a way it almost makes it feel like animation was made with more heart, and it was made with more kind of like passion with the people behind it, because they were kind of making it for the love of it, and they didn't know whether or not they would like have their jobs afterwards. Like a lot of them actually say that in the documentary for Beauty and the Beast. Like they literally going like, "Oh, we don't know if we're like laid off, if we're temporarily laid off." And I'm like, "Wow, okay, you guys are able to comment on all of this while on like an official Disney behind the scenes footage, like literally the animators being like, yeah, we didn't know if we were laid off, we didn't know if we were had a job again, because the movie wasn't going well." I'm like, wow, you guys are so ballsy. Can you imagine a Disney behind the scenes documentary saying this now, being like, yeah, we did we didn't know what was happening, we didn't know what would go on or anything. I was like, man, this is wild. But yeah, the basically me just saying that is like, if you watch that video, you can tell like it feels very kind of wholesome, the way the character, like the animators are, and the producers, even like how they're kind of working with one another and everything. It's very different from how it feels now, where it's very corporate, it's very clean. Like if you've ever seen the making of Frozen 2, it feels so clean, and not in the best way, I guess. But and then you watch the behind the scenes for Beauty and the Beast, and you're like, whoa, this feels genuine. Like it feels like they're genuinely just talking about the craft and everything. Like I thought it was pretty cool. It's pretty neat. They made her a girl boss even as a little kid. It was supposed to be about her growth, her challenge to become a soldier. She can't just fight perfect. Yeah, exactly. That was like the weirdest change for me, and I'm wondering why they changed that. I know that this one was a little bit different because the 2D animated one, they gotta make it basically however they wanted, whereas this one, because I guess it's live action, they gotta work with maybe China, and so China maybe had like certain requests for how it's made, how the story should be portrayed, like all those things maybe played a role into the story a little bit. Like who knows what happened behind the scenes. But yeah, that change was very disappointing to see them go with. Should at least keep them around to show run stuff. I think Disney is just playing it really safe. Like there's just too much investment, so the higher up rate hates risk. And yeah, I think that's a big thing too, and it sucks because it's a big company, so you know they can't really do too much. They can only risk so much, kind of. But that's kind of like the problem. It's too safe. It's too clean. It's too like proper in a way. But I also think like the stories just don't make as much sense as they used to. Whereas like beforehand, it seemed like there was so much thought that went into every decision for the story, but it still had to make sense for the character and the overarching themes and everything. That's kind of like the impression I got from reading the behind the scenes for Mulan, is that like people were fighting for certain story decisions to keep Mulan like a good character, as in like a well-written, well-rounded, developed character. But I feel like there's not really too much of that anymore, I guess. Yelling about decisions Disney made. It's honestly, I think it's fascinating taking kind of like a retrospective look of how they used to make films and then how they need to make films now, and kind of just seeing the changes that are kind of happening. You can always tell the difference between a passion project and a pure money grab. Yeah. I think that's definitely the case with, I think, the Renaissance period and a little bit past the Renaissance, maybe up to like Atlantis. Or maybe like Emperor's New Groove is probably maybe one of the last few passion projects that were behind Disney. I mean, obviously there's still, I think, stuff that's still good and still worked late after that point, but I think that's when it really was still like there in their projects that you can kind of feel. But yeah. is it called Beauty and the Beast Tales of the Making? No, okay, that's the full documentary. So that's kind of like the proper, like it's almost like an hour long documentary, but they have a vlog, Kevin. There's like a vlog of the animators literally going to France, and it has nothing to do with the movie. It's literally them just going and watching and looking at like different castles on the French River side. It's like literally them just drinking wine and walking around the French countryside. And they're not talking about the movie. They're literally just, okay, animators, we have to figure out what the story is. While we figure that out, you guys go enjoy your time in France. And it's like, okay, sure. It literally feels like a vlog of animators from the 90s going to France. It's cool. It's amazing. I wish they would do more stuff like that. They kind of did something like that as well for Up. Like in the making of Up, you can kind of see like they went to the area, I forgot where it is, that was inspired by the mountains and the locations for Up. And it feels a little bit like a vlog as well. And I just miss that kind of stuff from Pixar and Disney. Like, they used to put a lot of effort in the behind the scenes and kind of these behind the scenes footages of not only how they made the movie, but also just the people who worked on the films. And I feel like they don't really have too many of those anymore, unfortunately. Especially with Disney Plus, they definitely do not have that going on anymore. But yeah. Super Spurg, sure, yeah, if you want to, I don't know, sure, I could take a look at your character sheet, I guess, I don't know. I don't really, I keep forgetting, like, what the protocol is, but I don't mind taking a quick look at it. Probably wouldn't get, like, a full, because we do full critiques for our Patreon members and everything, so, if you want a full critique, you know, you can check out our Patreon. But, I mean, I don't mind giving it a quick look. Like the stories there, yeah. I think, you know, for Frozen 2, if no one's watched Frozen 2, okay, watch Frozen 2, and then watch Frozen 2, the making of, because it kind of explains so much about why Frozen 2 ended up the way that it did. When you watch the making of for that movie, it's kind of baffling. I'm just like, this is what? How did you guys? And you can kind of see, it almost feels like the Phantom Menace for Star Wars. There's that whole meme where they finish watching maybe like what is like the first cut of the Phantom Menace and the lights turn on in the theater and everyone has that look of like, oh boy, oh, this is not good. You know, it kind of has that same feeling for Frozen 2 when you watch the making of for it. Because there's certain scenes where they're talking with the composers, or not the composers, the songwriters for Frozen 2, and you can kind of see that they're frustrated with the process of what's happening with the story, because they need to write the songs based on the story, but because the story wasn't finished and they hadn't figured out like what the ending for the story was, the songwriters were just like, okay, we got nothing to work on, here's maybe something, and then they're like, no, well, I don't know, should we go with this? And then the songwriters are just like, what's happening? It's really bad. It's crazy when you watch the behind the scenes footage for Frozen 2. It's wild. He's doing a really cute polar bear. Yeah, Airblaze is still doing there's a lot of old animators that are kind of now just doing their own thing. Whether it's animation or just kind of personal projects. Like Glenn Keane's kind of just, I don't think he's really doing anything. He's just helping his son with his own project, which is kind of sweet. But he doesn't really do too much anymore, which makes sense. I think he's like late 70s now. Me with Wish, like what was that? You know, Joe, I still have not watched Wish. I've heard so much bad things about it that I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch it. I think my internet's trying to kill the stream. Oh no. Oh, your color palette is so well. Is it organized? I don't think it's well organized. It's literally in the order of how I would color things. Kind of looks like he's yawning. I guess that does look like a yawning eye, like a yawning face. That's true. I don't know. I don't want to draw his eyes. Like, I don't know. Should the eyes be slightly open? Maybe they could be slightly open. I haven't really figured out like what the eyes would look like if they were like kind of open though. This is where it's like it's really good that you guys can't see my camera. Whoops. Are they doing more Frozen? Really? That's... yeah, I would not have expected them to want to do it. Now, this looks bad. You know, let me try... well, I mean, the other eye... I feel like it can't be like right at the... it's gotta be like here. I don't know, shouting faces are always a little annoying because it's like... yeah, shouting faces are always annoying. Nah, I'm not a huge fan of it. Well, you know what? If it looks like yawning, you know, maybe it is what it is. It's not yawning, but if it looks like yawning, maybe it looks like yawning. But we are just gonna stick with what we had. You know, maybe it looks a little bit like yawning. He's shouting passionately is what's happening, you know. Also, we don't have that much time, so I can't really go about and try to figure out what that expression is going to look like. I don't really watch movies anymore. I'll just stick with manga, thanks. That's fair. You know, I mean, there's still plenty of great movies out there. I know we were kind of ranting about movies, but I think there's still great movies. What's a good one that I watched recently that I can mention? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I watched anything that I can can mention on stream. They're not bad, but I'm kind of just like, I know there's a lot of different age groups watching our streams, so yeah. They're good movies. There's still good movies out there. You just kind of have to keep an eye out for them. There was a removed song in Frozen between Elsa, which really changed things up, like Life's Too Short. Oh, I don't remember that, but that would be interesting. I think it's just always cool to see like the stuff that they changed and took out for stories, just to see like, I wonder what would have happened if like these certain things were kept in. I refuse to watch Wish, I Will Die for... Life's Too Short, it's perfect. It shows the siblings' nature coming from someone with a younger brother and sister so well. Oh, interesting. Sibling rivalry. Maybe if more wrinkles were added to the bridge or the nose. Oh, true. Yeah, thank you, Vin. That's a good point right there. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't. I don't know why I didn't add that. That completely did not cross my mind that that would be something that I had to add. I completely forgot about that. But yes, thank you. That's a good point. Yeah. Vin with the save. I'm too busy talking about Disney that I completely forgot about that. Have you heard the Tangled cut songs? They wouldn't fit the style of the movie now with all the changes to Tangled, but they would sound really good. Oh, yeah, I do wish that Tangled had more songs. I do like the songs that they had, but I wish they were just slightly longer so it felt kind of in line with the older stuff. Ninja 2. Is that really good? Okay, I had friends who were like watching it, but I only heard of it, but I don't know anything like if it's good or not. You're the first person, Joe, to recommend it. Actually, I've just heard of it. Watch old stuff, it's always better. Honestly, I've been showing my friend a lot of movies because she hasn't watched like literally anything. So I've made this whole list of movies. We watched The Prestige, we watched Back to the Future, we watched Interstellar, like for her first time. And so far she's been loving it. So yeah, it's good. Everything Everywhere All at Once is peak. Okay, if you're gonna bring up Everything Everywhere All at Once, I guess that's Kevin giving me the green light to mention other movies where I was like, I don't know if I can mention it. Civil War is really good. I am sad Civil War did not get any shout outs for the awards, but I really love Civil War. Don't go into Civil War thinking it's gonna be a war movie though, but it's a really good movie. I think it's shot really well. The sound design's really good. Even just like the world and the characters is really fascinating. I don't know, maybe people in America would not love it as much because they're like, this doesn't make any sense. But I don't know, maybe as a Canadian, I'm just like, wow, this is fascinating. But Civil War is I throw that out there. I'm pretty sure that came out this year. Or like 2024, I mean. Because it came out around the same year. I'm pretty sure it came out the same year as Dune. And we all know it was a travesty that Dune did not get any, or didn't get as much awards for the Oscars. And I'm going to watch the Oscars. I always watch the Oscars. You know, I honestly think the best moment for the Oscars was still the whole Will Smith thing. Because me and my sister saw that live. We were watching it, and then the audio cut out, and we're just like, what? What's happening? Oh, maybe it's our antenna. Maybe something's like wrong, or something happened with the connection or something. And they're like, wait, no, something doesn't seem right here. And then we find out that it's because they had to censor it. And it's like, oh, snap. You know, what's happening? So that was fun. My internet is pitiful. Oh no, I feel bad for you, man. I hope your internet is getting better. I realize I just said I hope it's better, man, but I don't know if you're a dude or whatnot, but I guess that's just my lexicon. I hope it's better for you, bro. I hope your internet's hanging in there, brother. I don't know why it's Hulk Hogan all of a sudden, but hang in there, brother. Your internet will come back shortly. So everyone's a bro, you know? Josh is such... I am not a bro at all. I'm pretty sure I'm like the least bro out there of the bros. You know, if we had to like... It's like, you know, find bros out there, I'm pretty sure I am the least bro. Oh yeah, the TV show. You know, I did check out the Tangled TV show for a little bit. And then my Disney Plus, like, I didn't renew it. So, yeah. What a fascinating story. I know. All That I've Done for You, that's one of them. It's Mother Other Singing to Pencil. There's another one too. Oh, okay. You know what, that does sound familiar. I feel like that sounds like something I've heard, that they had like more songs about with like the mom. If you're going to have a bro off, you don't think you'd... Wait, what is this? What? Very, no, but honestly, I don't think much about it when people call me dude or guy or bro. Okay, guy is normal. You know, like people go like, yo, guy, or like guys, you know. I think that's fine. But maybe bro, I'm just like, I feel like bro is more, it's more directly towards bros. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I'm pretty sure it's not that big of a deal. But yeah. We're all bros. Oh my goodness. At Wing Canvas, we're all bros. There's like some Warhammer thing going on. We're all brothers. brother. That's all I can say. Varian is best character. Wait, who are these? If it's in reference to Warhammer, sorry, I don't know anything about Warhammer. I just know that it like kind of popped off a little bit for the Amazon show, and then after that, and people did not like the Amazon secret level show. But if it's about Warhammer, I know nothing about Warhammer. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people like Warhammer though, but I know nothing about Warhammer. Okay, I know we're coming up a little bit on time. If we might have to go a bit over because I think I'm like pretty close to finishing. This one might take a bit longer to finesse and kind of nail down in terms of like the look of this character for like this angle, but I think I should be able to finish it with maybe a little bit of going a little bit over the usual 2 hours, but yeah, we'll stay on probably a little bit just so I can finish this. Tangled the series. Oh. Oh, I see. Yeah, I only watched like I think one episode of Tangled the series. I thought it was fine. I thought it was pretty cool. The art style is really neat and everything. So I thought it was cool. Not been drawing for 20 minutes. That's okay. We're all drawing in spirit, you know. I guess maybe of all the wing canvas instructors, maybe I guess I am the most bro. You got me thinking about it, Kevin. We're all drawing in spirit. I love that. We're all drawing in spirit, exactly. Yeah. I am the I am the bro. I am the bro of wing canvas, but it's okay. We're all bros. I feel like that's from somewhere. I feel like that's from some kind of like movie or something where it's like we're all bros. It's okay. It sounds so familiar. I don't know what. Damian Wayne and a mix of Jason Todd. Oh yeah, you know what? It's the white hair. It's the white hair, and then the face looks a bit like Jason. Oh, Damian Wayne. Oh, I was thinking about Robin, of Dick Grayson. But Damian Wayne, yeah, you know what? I see that too. It does feel very much like Damian Wayne. I did not think of that, but that's true. Now that you brought it up, you know, this is just the alternate world version of Damian Wayne, and Damian Wayne also got resurrected by the Lazarus Pit, and he got the white hair thing that Jason has. For some reason, he has. Okay, hot take. I don't know if who's watched the Batman. I have watched the Batman like I think 3 or 4 times now. I don't think it's that good. It's everybody though. I've like not heard anyone say that they don't like the Batman. Everybody who talks about it is always like, "Oh, it's so good. This is the best thing ever." And I'm just like, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Like it's all right. I think visually, it looks really good. Visually, it looks really good. I think the way Gotham City looks is really good, and I think the Batsuit looks really good. But there's something about I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not really quite convinced of Robert Pattinson's Batman just yet. He just looks like a very emo kid in a Batsuit. This is kind of the reason. There's a lot of shots where he's just standing there in a room full of cops, and that never happens in the comic books. It's like in the comics, it's usually either Harvey Bullock, or Bullock, I don't know how to say his name, or Jim Gordon, and that's it. It's just always Batman in a room with maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 cops at most. But in the Batman, he's always surrounded by like a bunch of other cops and other people, and I'm like, that's not how Batman is. Or else the whole gloomy emo outlook of Batman where he's just standing there menacingly doesn't work, because then he just looks weird. Like, he just looks like a brooding dude in a big bat suit just standing there in front of a room full of normal people doing their thing. But it makes more sense and it feels more normal when it's just him and like one or two other person, because then it feels more balanced out that way. Like, they're kind of investigating, they're figuring things out, you know. But when he's in a room full of cops, it's just like, do you guys not notice this giant emo brooding guy in a giant armored bat suit? Like, it's kind of weird. I don't know. That's kind of like my biggest problem. It's just like, I don't know, there's something about Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne that I'm not too convinced of, but I do get that part of it is that this is kind of his origin story, and I'm really hoping that in the next one he's not as brooding than he was in this one, because I know in this one he's like, oh, I gotta be dark and serious, and then he realized that, oh, I gotta be hopeful actually. Oh man. So I'm hoping in the next one he carries a little bit of that over, and then he becomes a little bit more like, he's still supposed to still be brooding, but a little bit more less emo maybe. Like, you can be brooding and you can be serious, but you don't have to be emo. And I feel like the Batman feels too feels too emo. But yeah, before I decided was it that's dedicated. Okay, because I did this with the Winter Soldier as well for Captain America. Everybody loved Captain America Winter Soldier, and they're like, oh, this is so good, one of the best comic book movies ever. And me and my sister watched it, and every time I watch it, I try to give it a shot of like, oh, maybe I'm just missing something, maybe it is really good, but it's not. It's so bad. The Winter Soldier is so boring. It wants to be interesting and it wants to be like enticing, but it's just not good. It's so bad. It's so boring. It's cool, you know, the shots of Washington DC. I think that's kind of neat. That's kind of cool, but other than that, I think it's kind of boring. It's kind of a lame film. And a lot of the Marvel movies are kind of lame, but you know. I like to give movies a few shot before, you know, like, especially if I don't like them and I notice that other people like them, I tend to give it a few more takes and I give it a few more shots before I kind of come to my conclusion, unless I really, really don't like it. And the Batman was one where after I finished it in the theater, I was like, that was all right. And then everybody just kept saying that it was so good. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Maybe I'll like it more the next time. I don't know. But because it's happened before. Sometimes I've watched something and I didn't really love it, and then I watched it again and it's like, oh, this is so good. Like Hateful Eight was one of those. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, basically the two most recent Tarantino films were films where I'm like, this is fine, and then I watch it again and I'm like, oh, I love this. This is so good. I'm gonna stick to Spider. I think you should still check out the Batman. Like, it's still shot really well too, I think. Favorite Bat family member? Oh, there's this really good alternate world called Beyond the White Knight take by I forgot his name. I keep forgetting his name. If I had my camera on, I'd show it to you, but he basically does this alternate take where Harley Quinn was never crazy and the Joker was not also exactly crazy, but he had a medical condition. And Harley Quinn stayed with the Joker's human side to keep him grounded and keep him under check. That version of Harley Quinn is actually really, really good. And if you've never read it, I highly encourage you guys read it's Batman the White Knight, Harley Quinn. That one is a really, really good one. The art style also so good. Terry McGinnis, you know, I haven't watched enough Batman Beyond to like Terry McGinnis, but that wasn't Twilight. It was Robert Pattinson, yeah. Who's terrible? I don't think he's terrible. I just think the take on him is not my flavor of who I want Batman to be. As long as you're having fun, I think it's what matters. Good luck with the project. Oh yeah, with the working stuff. think that's a good mindset to have for consuming media. Yeah, I think so. I think like giving stuff multiple shots, it's good. Unless you really hate it. I mean, like, you know, no one's forced to watch something more than once if you don't want to, but, you know. Wasn't Joker staying with Batman for a bit and Harley was with Batman? Yeah, it gets a little complicated and a little convoluted. Honestly, I don't think... Let me check out. What's this? Sean Murphy. So Sean Murphy is the guy who created this kind of alternate world universe of Batman, where the Batman's a little bit more brutal, and he's been Batman for a long time, and he's a little bit unhinged. But in this world, the Joker is not the usual Joker. He's kind of has this medical condition, and then over time, the personality of Joker takes over completely and becomes the Joker. So in this way, it's kind of more like the Joker can almost be healed, and it's almost kind of like this question of like, oh, what if there was a cure to heal the Joker, kind of thing. But he's been terrorizing Gotham for like years, and the whole thing is like Harley Quinn stays with him to keep him in check and everything. So it's kind of neat. I think it's really cool. It's a really cool concept. The art's really cool. Sean Murphy is not the best writer though, but that's why I kind of recommend more of the Harley Quinn version of Batman the White Knight. It's called Batman the White Knight, and then they made this like just a one-off short story version with Harley Quinn, and I actually really like that version. I really wish they would make more of it, but that one's not written by Sean Murphy, and I think it's a much better written version because it feels like a more detective story, but with Harley Quinn. So imagine Harley Quinn becomes a vigilante to help Batman because Batman's in prison, and instead of Batman doing the investigation and doing all the investigative stuff that Batman does, it's Harley Quinn. And it's like really cool. I don't know. I thought it was like a neat take on it. Where can I watch or read this? I mean, you can read it in your local comic book store. Like it's like physical copy. Like I got the physical copy of it. But yeah, I think it's worth it. Like the art's really good. Yeah. I know we're like over time, but I'm like almost there. I don't know how this one will turn out. I feel like this one's probably not going to turn out as good as the other ones, but we'll still get it finished. Trying to do like kind of like a what you say kind of a look, you know, like the small stare down. It's okay. It's not too bad. I want that hairline. Yo, it's stylized. It's a bit too far down, but you know. Us all being artists, comics, visuals have the added bonus being references. Hundreds and hundreds of references in all sorts of poses and expressions. Yep, exactly. That's pretty much it. I've done this expression a few times, but I've done it for like different characters. Like characters that look a little bit different, so that's why I'm kind of like, even though I've done this type of head angle before and expression a little bit before, I'm kind of like I still have to kind of figure it out basically for this character, because he's gonna be the hair shape, the eye shape, it's gonna be different for this character. Oh wow. And speaking of like emo Batman, I guess our character here also has like very dramatic hair shape. Kind of has a little bit of like a Hunter x Hunter kind of vibe to it. I ain't flexible enough for a lot of poses though. Well, no one said you had to personally do them, or you don't have to actually do it. You could just put the camera in the angle that you want it to be, meaning like if it's where you got to do a handstand, you don't have to actually do the handstand, but just you know kind of go in a handstand pose, take the photo, and then um see what happens with the, and then kind of like flip it over a little bit so that kind of looks like you're doing handstand, I mean, like you don't have to do every single pose, but you can kind of make it look like you're doing the pose with the camera, and have the camera be in a certain angle so that it kind of tricks the viewer, so it makes it look like you're doing the pose even though you're not doing the pose. I don't know what I'm saying. I realized that was a really confusing blurb of a sentence, but it's also like 11 o'clock, so maybe that's kind of what's happening. Yeah. Yeah, like that's the same thing with props too. Like not everybody's gonna have like a gun or a sword, or I don't know, like nunchucks. All the props in the world, you're not gonna have them. So sometimes you gotta kind of just make it up, look up references, hold something else that might look like it. So if you don't have a sword, just hold like a baton, or if you finish a bounty roll of toilet paper or bounty hand towels, just hold that instead of holding like an actual sword, you know? Okay. Realize he's got a mix of like different hairstyles. He's got a bit of that Bart Simpson hairstyle, little Johnny Bravo, little Bart Simpson, little Jason Todd, little Damian Wayne going on. Excuse me. Hope you guys didn't hear that burp, but long stick got it now to learn fancy sword fighting stances. Well, that's the other thing too with like references, is that you don't have to get it like spot on. As long as it kind of looks like it, you can also kind of in a way make it up to a certain point, to a certain degree. Because yeah, like I don't know how to sword fight either, but you can kind of make it up a little bit. And then that's where like combining references, combining research, combining doing your own poses and everything, like you put them all together. You don't have to have a one-all be-all kind of one-and-done reference that solves all your problems, because that's kind of unrealistic. That's probably not gonna happen all the time, because not everybody's gonna be in the exact same pose that you want it to be in. So you're gonna have to kind of find a good middle ground for it and kind of combine poses. I love your art style. Oh, thank you. I can do a handstand if there's a wall for initial true hand. You know what? That's already better than me. I cannot do a handstand. I think it's like I always underestimate how hard you have to kick up yourself, or like push off, kind of, and then it doesn't work. I realized I gave him a smolder. I was not intending on giving him a smolder, but that's how things roll. I also realized it makes it look like he has like eye makeup. It's supposed to be shadow. Maybe it's a bit too intense. I don't know. Oh yeah, we'll cover. Just put it all. It's intense dramatic lighting. The good news is the main character doesn't fight fancy as the other main characters. Oh, okay. I feel like there's a lot of pressure trying to be realistic, like I am a little afraid of somebody looking at it and saying, actually that's not how you swing a sword. I mean, you know what? There's so many popular stories or movies where they analyze like a fight scene and it'll be like, oh, actually that's not how a sword fight would go, or like that's not a proper stance. And it's always going to be a mix of two. Sometimes you can kind of get away with it and be like, oh, that was an artistic decision because it just looks better. Like a real fight is probably never going to look like the way it does in Hollywood or the way that it does in like movies or video games. So I think it's okay if it doesn't look exactly like it, as long as it kind of works for like the character, or it just looks cool, like it's done really well and it's drawn really well. Then I think it's fine if it doesn't look exactly accurate to how a certain stance might be. Oh, actually, I think I'm gonna move this over a little bit. There we go. Okay, there we go. We finally kind of finished-ish. Kind of? Maybe? I don't know. I think this is... Oh, wait. I gotta put in the shadow. Hold up. We're almost done. We are almost there. I just want to put in the shadows, kind of these high contrasting shadows around here. I've been doing these lately, and I really love putting these in because it makes it feel more dramatic and adds a nice little pop of color in it. I usually go a little bit more intricate with like the line work, but because we only have so little time and we're drawing like 3 poses or expressions here, and I'm still trying to, in a way, design and figure out our character, it's gonna, it's gonna be a little bit rougher than usual. But oh, whoops, realize I gotta draw them on the proper layer. But yeah, this is pretty much it. We'll be ending the stream soon, and yeah, but yeah, this is pretty much it for my character. I think this turned out not too bad. But yeah, he has a lot of aura. Oh my. I don't really do all of that. I just use an app 3D model. Oh, yeah, that's pretty smart too. Yeah. Have you read School Bus Graveyard? It's the only book I want to read. I've not read that. I've never heard of that, but it sounds like a cool premise. I can't play a Monster Hunter if I pose everything in 3D. Suspension of disbelief. Yeah, exactly. Where a musician will react to animation and play... Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, he did it for Cowboy Bebop, right, Joe? I think that was a really cool video. I don't think I watched like the full thing, but it was a really cool one. How do you make the face so expressive? Well, for one, I have a mirror in front of me. I know a lot of people make fun of me for that. Well, Kevin mostly makes fun of me for having a mirror in front of me, but it helps a lot because then you can do the expression yourself. The other thing too is like it's good to have an idea of who your character is to help guide the expression. So having a reference, whether it's a reference from the internet or having a mirror, and then so that's the first thing. Second thing is knowing what your character is, so it kind of helps guide the type of expressions that this character might have. And then the last thing, which is probably the most important one, is just to have a good understanding of like the facial structure and just where the facial features would roughly be. So with that said though, that's kind of like the last thing. I think this is it. These are our new expressions that will be added to the Nils expression sheet. And yeah, we're done. That's kind of the end of the stream. We went over just a little bit, honestly, not that over, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I know that this one we didn't really talk too much about any kind of like technicalities about drawing, but it was mostly just designing and having a nice chill time while drawing more Nils expressions while talking with you guys, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, now it's time for kind of the closing end statements. And so, yeah. So if you guys are just joining us, though, don't worry. The VOD will be going up later. And if this is your first time joining us or finding us, hello, welcome. Unfortunately, this is the end, but hopefully we'll catch you on the next stream. If you don't know who we are Wing Canvas. We are a YouTube channel where we make art tutorial videos on tips, tricks, and drawing advice to better help our fellow art nerds in this art community of ours. Our mission at Wing Canvas is to make art education easily accessible to everyone, so be sure to tune in live for free lessons every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern and Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you're an art nerd too, be sure to check out the links to our social media in the description below, and check out our website for our class offerings, where you can get critique, guidance, and encouragement from our instructors, because we're not just a YouTube channel, we're a school of illustration as well. And I also want to personally thank our incredible Patreon and YouTube members for supporting our mission. YouTube members can chat with instructors, instructors, and see video drafts before they're released. Patreon members can level up their artwork with classes, Q&A, and live critiques, and personal support like drawovers from instructors. So if you want to help support the channel or accelerate your learning, consider becoming a member. And with that being said, that is the end of the stream. Thank you all for staying out here with me. I don't know how many of you guys are left, but thank you all for a fun night of streaming. This is my first Monday night one, and there'll be more to come. I believe the next one is going to be with Faye, so that'll be really cool. Hope you guys have a good night, have a good rest of the week, and stay safe out there. Good night. Bye, guys.